AITA for telling my father that it was his fault he missed my son's first birthday party. My son turned 1 this past weekend. On Sunday, my husband and I threw a birthday party for him at a local kids venue. We confirmed the date with both the venue and our guests a few months ago. One of those guests was my father. Back when I informed him of the date, he told me he'd come. A few days before the party, he asked if there was any way for me to reschedule it. I said no, as we'd already confirmed everything with the venue. My father then told me he'd be late to the party because there was an event at his girlfriend's church on the same day and she wanted him to attend. I should say that my immediate family, including my father, is technically Catholic, but none of us practice it. However, my father's girlfriend is very religious, like Jesus as her phone wallpaper religious. Since they started dating, a little over a year ago, my father has been attending church with her on a semi-regular basis. He has explicitly told me he doesn't like it but does it to make her happy. I told my father I was fine with him being late, as long as he came to the party at some point. He said he'd show up as soon as the church event was done. A few hours before the party ended, my father texted me the event was still going, and he thought it would be in poor taste for him to leave early, so he probably wouldn't be able to come. I didn't hear from him again that day. On Monday, my father called me to explain that the event went on for longer than he expected. He didn't apologize, but asked if I was angry at him, and I said yes. He said he had no way of knowing the event would last as long as it did, but that's not what I'm upset about. I told him he still chose to prioritize an event he didn't even want to attend over his grandson's first birthday party, made several other choices that led him to completely miss the latter, and didn't inform me about any of that until the last minute. All of those decisions were his, so the fact he ultimately didn't come to the party was his fault. My father is still refusing to apologize and insists I have no right to be angry over something he had no control over. I'm starting to feel odd about this. My husband is on my side, but my sister told me I'm being dramatic. AITA? Some of OOP's comments. Commenter, NTA. He made his choice, asked if you were upset, was told yes you were too, which he said, well, actually I was expecting you to placate my feelings about missing the party and prioritizing my GF, who is an adult, over my grandson. Don't. You seriously do not need to soothe his feelings. Say to him clearly once more, I'm upset you chose to miss the party. Why you missed it is beside the point. It's not like you were in the ER with a ruptured spleen after a massive car wreck. You were with your GF, period. He doesn't get a free pass on your feelings, just because he values his own comfort over yours. During that first phone call, it did kind of feel like he thought he was a victim, as if missing his grandson's birthday party was something that had happened to him, not something his own decisions had led to. Kid won't remember it, it's for the parents. Multiple comments. Even if it is for the parents, it was still important to me and my father knew it. Also, this was his first grandchild's first birthday party. If I had to choose between that and my partner, I would choose the former. To another commenter, you sound more reasonable than others who have commented similar things, so I'll say this here. The fact my son won't remember this is irrelevant. This was important to me and my father knew it. I'm not dramatizing anything. I'm simply angry at my father for deliberately missing an event dedicated to a family member, which he had agreed to attend long prior, and acting like it wasn't his fault. Commenter, NTA. Your father is an adult, and he made a choice to attend a different event. He asked if you were upset, and you answered him honestly. He chose his girlfriend over his grandchild. It's understandable to be disappointed in him and upset that he made the choices he's made. It's very possible he'll do this again in the future. I do think hanging on to your anger only eats away at you, though. Doesn't seem to be bothering him all that much. Make peace with the fact that he's going to choose the girlfriend. Adulting sucks sometimes. OP, I don't plan on hanging on to my anger or anything, but I'm definitely still upset. My father has an odd work schedule, so this isn't the first important event he misses, but it's the first he chose to miss. Comment info. What was the church event? I honestly don't know. He alternated between calling it an event and a party. I'm only certain it wasn't a funeral. Does the girlfriend often make comments about how she wishes you/years your father were more involved with religion? It strikes me as odd that someone who claims they didn't even want to attend the church event would suddenly decide that it would be rude to leave before it was over. Because, while it has been a while, most church socials I've been to were of the buy-your-leave variety, meaning people came and went as they were able to. OP, she was a little upset when she found out I wasn't baptizing my son, but that's all I got on my end. My father had no direct connection to any church before meeting her. Comment, why are you angry at your dad? It is not like son would care. The possibility to build actual relationship with someone who likes you is rare at your father's age, while own children are already supposed to prioritize own families, and you are supposed to be secondary there. Let the dad build on his chance to have someone who actually have daily and involved relationship with him in his life. It may be his last chance to not be old and lonely. OP, 1. I care. 2. Knowing my father, the relationship won't last and he knows it. 3. You may feel different, but I would never choose someone I've been dating for a year over my grandchild. To a further comment along the same lines. Also, my father's relationships don't tend to last long. For years he's been saying he doesn't want a commitment. OOP is voted NTA. Update. Hey guys, I intended to update sooner, but I've been busy these days. I think my main takeaway from your comments was that it's not my job to placate my father's feelings. He made several conscious decisions that led him to miss the birthday party. He had the right to make those choices, but the consequences were, indeed, his fault. After deliberating for a while, I called my father to discuss the subject again. I told him I don't expect him to apologize, and I won't hold resentment towards him forever, but he can't expect me to pretend his actions didn't anger me, or that it wasn't his fault. We had a long discussion about it. Throughout all of it, my father kept trying to play the victim. He'd talk about how he wanted to come to the party and was upset he'd missed it. At one point he said, "You don't understand. I didn't want to go to the church." I told him I don't care. What matters is that he did. He could have told his girlfriend he didn't want to go, but he didn't. He could have left the church early, but he didn't. He could have prioritized his previous commitment and not attended the event in the first place, but he didn't. Everything he did that day was within his control. I won't get into the specifics of the discussion itself, but I will say that it took a while. I explained that if he wants to prioritize his girlfriend over his grandchild, the least he can do is be upfront about it. That means either not making promises he can't keep or acknowledging his responsibility when he makes regretful decisions. My father did end up apologizing and, more importantly, taking accountability. I forgave him, but I intend to be wary from now on. Looking back, I don't feel like I was ever able to truly rely on my father. Back then, he would miss events because he had a complicated work schedule. But now that I know he's also capable of doing that willingly, I don't want to enable it. If my father ever prioritizes anything, be it a girlfriend or an event, over a commitment he made to my son again, I will stop inviting him. Same goes for any children my husband and I have in the future. I've informed my father of that, and he agreed. His girlfriend, from what I've heard, is pissed at me, but I couldn't care less. This will be my only update. I don't think I have anything else to add, but feel free to ask me any questions you may have. Thank you for your feedback on my last post. Some of OOP's comments. Commenter. Unless he was dragged there at gunpoint, I don't see how he could try to claim this was anyone's fault but his own. He made a series of choices, but wants to act like his hands were tied. At his age, he should know how to stand up for himself and not be strong-armed into these kinds of situations, and to stop expecting a pity party when he disappoints people. Good on you for not letting him wiggle out of his accountability. As for the girlfriend, what does she have to be mad about? She got what she wanted. She can get bent. I think my father told her he's not going to her church anymore. I can't be certain, but he told me he wanted to do that. Anyway, I don't think she's my biggest fan. Have they been together long? I would think a GF would want to come with him to his grandson's birthday party. Even if she isn't BFFs with you, she could still be cordial and want them to have a good relationship. They've been together for a little over a year. I met her a few weeks after my son was born. Back when I invited my father to the party, I told him she was welcome to tag along. I was curious what your relationship with the crazy religious GF is. Are you both friendly, or is she more of the "I'm gonna make this man mine and separate him from his family" type? She either sprang the event on him last minute to see if he'd choose her, or the daughter and grandson, or your father really is just that dumb. Me to all of the above, honestly. We're cordial with each other, but far from friends. I wouldn't say she acts territorial over my father, and his first post-divorce girlfriend tried to convince him to have me over less often than my sister, so I know what that's like. But there have been times in the past in which she looked a little jealous of the rest of the family. My son is the first baby born to my father's side of the family in years, so he's been getting a lot of attention. I don't think she likes me much, but it's got more to do with the fact we are very different people. I'm pretty sure every life decision I've told her about was met with an awkward silence. Story 2. AITA for exposing my aunt's affair with my cousin's boyfriend and tearing the family apart. I, 19F, am diagnosed with ASPD. Don't worry, I am not a danger to myself or anyone else, and I need opinions of people who can feel empathy to know if I was wrong. Yesterday night, it was my cousin Bianca, 21F, birthday. We were all invited to her house. She still lives with her parents, and we have a big family. My family arrived first, and a while later my aunt, who is just divorced, Kami 46F, arrived, and when she hugged Bianca's boyfriend, Vincent, 21M, I thought they seemed pretty close. After we sang happy birthday and cut the cake, Kami asked me to take pictures with her unlocked phone, as I don't like to be in photos. As I was taking them, I saw a notification from someone called Vincent and accidentally, more or less, opened it. It said, "I can't wait till the party is over." It was him. I knew his profile picture. Not even 10 minutes later, Kami asked Vincent to help her bring her gift to Bianca from the car. It was an electric guitar. Curious, I followed them into the backyard and under the little light of the car, saw them kissing. As I had my phone in hand, I quickly snapped a picture and went into the house before they could see me. They came back 15 minutes later. As much as I don't care about Bianca, I thought she deserved to know the truth. So when it was my turn to give her my gift, I pulled her aside and showed her the picture. She burst into tears and started screaming, confronting both Kami and Vincent. "How could you do this to me?" There were lots of tears and shouting. Vincent said it was only one kiss, only this time. But then I asked to see his phone. He denied. Kami also denied, calling me a psychopathic heartless board. The party ended soon after, and Vincent left with Kami. Now my family is divided in 3 fronts. 1, my grandma, grandpa, uncle, and mother think it was not my place to tell. 2, Bianca's father, my other aunt, Bianca's mother, Bianca's brother, and Bianca, who think I should have waited till the end of the party to tell and not ruined her 21st birthday. And 3, my sister, my father, and my other cousin, who think I did the right thing. Feels like everyone is mad at me and not the cheaters. So Reddit, tell me AITA? PS, don't mind the mistakes. I am not a native speaker. The edit was a typo I made. AITA has no consensus bot. OP was NTA relevant comments. Commenter 1, I feel like the birthday would have been ruined either way. It's sad that they couldn't even wait for your cousin to have a good birthday to act on their affair. Right? I was flabbergasted. Comment 2, you're NTA for exposing the affair, but you could have chosen a better time and place to do it. Thank you. I find it hard to take other people's feelings into account since I don't have many of my own. I will apologize to Bianca. Update. Hi. So as you can see from my profile, I am not an active user, so I hope this post finds those who answered my previous post. My grandparents called for an urgent family meeting this afternoon. Me, my sister, father, and mother went as soon as we could. When we arrived, Bianca was already there. As some of you suggested, I called her into the other room and apologized for airing the dirty laundry in front of everyone. She cried a little and also apologized for being mad at me, thanking me, because if I hadn't taken the picture, she wouldn't have believed me, as she's been with Vincent for 5 years. She hugged me, which was a bit awkward since we haven't hugged in many years. To give you a rundown, Vincent left with Kami last night and broke up with Bianca over text. When Kami showed at the family meeting, she was bombarded with questions. Like, when did it start? How did it start? She answered calmly, although it seemed like she cried a lot during the night. The affair started when Vincent turned 18, so 3 years ago, at a previous birthday of Bianca. My mother, who had been on her side before, was disgusted. My grandparents admitted knowing and encouraging the affair, but apologized. Bianca stormed off and said that she would cut everyone who kept in touch with Kami off. I did not follow her, as we are not close. I forgot to mention in my previous post, but Kami is not just my aunt, she's my godmother, which is a very important title where I live, like a second mother. As she was leaving, the family had decided to cast her out. She asked if she could talk to me. Curious, I went. She told me she was sorry, and I said I was not the one she should apologize to. I said she was preying on Vincent, but she vehemently denied, saying she never had eyes for him before he was 18. Yeah, right, I said. She started crying, saying it was a mistake, and she would do anything to have her family back. I said, I was not the one wronged, but I will not forgive you and will cut you off, as your actions tell me a lot about your morale. Do not contact me ever again. She cried, begged, and pleaded, saying I was like a daughter to her. So I said, I am a psychopathic, heartless board, after all, and left. She tried calling and messaging, but I blocked her everywhere, as did the rest of my family. I don't think I will update again, but thanks to everyone who tried to help and gave your input. Relevant comments. OP on why her grandparents would encourage the affair. OP. I have no idea why they encouraged it, as at the time, nobody asked. My guess is, Kami has always been the golden child of theirs, as long as I've lived. She can do no wrong in their eyes. Once she totaled my mother's car, and they convinced my mother to not make her pay, like at all. Me, my sister, and Bianca will be cutting them off. I'm yet to know about the rest of the family. As I've mentioned on a previous comment, Kami is the golden child, and I think that's why they encouraged it. They said they would cut her off out of pressure, but I'm doubting they really will. I will be cutting them and Kami off though. Did Kami's husband divorce her because of the affair? Yes, I think so too. At the time, she refused to tell me why they were divorcing. Did Kami have any children with her ex-husband? Nope, she and her ex-husband were child-free for 20 years.